So let's get started. Pulling his string, Denji leaps in the direction of the Eternity Devil. He struggles against him, slicing and hacking everything in his path while simultaneously being wounded by the demon, who adds that it is useless to cut him because his heart isn't there. He is urged by a voice of power that if he continues to lose blood, his chainsaw will retract. Denji is ridiculed by the Eternity Devil, who claims that the chainsaw has weakened. Denji's chainsaw arms retract as a result of blood loss, but he bites the Eternity Devil and swallows its blood, remarking that even foul-tasting blood tastes wonderful when he sees the Eternity Devil suffering. Himeno remembers her talk with Kishibe at Sahara's tomb where he told her that devils fear the devil hunters with a few loose screws after witnessing Denji's bizarre combat. Sahara passed away because he was quite sane. The same is true for Sasaki, Subaru, and Kanochi. The devil grows stronger because rational people fear the demon's attack. Kishibe inquires as to Aki's sanity, but Himeno responds that no sane individual would attempt to murder the gun devil. Aki is subsequently asked by Himeno whether he wants to join her as a civilian devil hunter. She says they can maintain their way of life because she received a fantastic offer. Aki is alright with their meetings going forward, but he has no interest in going after devils for a living. Himeno is certain that Aki will perish if he engages in combat with the gun devil since he is just like everyone else, calm, nice, and normal. Denji is knocked down, and the Eternity Devil thinks it has triumphed. Himeno uses the Ghost Devil's arm to draw his rope. Denji then shouts that he just had an idea while standing up. He would be creating a perpetual motion machine if he kept stabbing him and drank his blood. Himeno begins to think he might be able to slay the gun devil after observing how insane Denji is. Denji is still battling the Eternity Devil 3 days later. Himeno goes to Aki and tells him it's over as they are both lying in bed. The Eternity Devil reveals its flaw, claiming that it is his heart, and begs Denji to kill it because it can no longer take the suffering. Denji is surprised to see that the fight is already over, but slices the devil's heart and kills it. Denji is seen carrying a portion of the gun demon as the demon hunters depart the hotel. He falls because he is feeling happy, but Himeno catches him and notices he has slept off. Himeno says that Kobani and Hirokazu should report to the sector and that they would transport Aki and Denji to the hospital. Later, Himeno asks Aki whether they can throw a welcoming party for newcomers. She argues that since Division 4 has never gotten together, they can use it to strengthen their bonds. Additionally, they might be able to find a solution to Kobani and Hirokazu's departure issue. They probably regret trying to kill Denji as well as their dread of the devils. Since Makima will be leaving for a business trip the following week, Aki insists that if they are going to do it, it needs to happen this week. Himeno is curious about Denji after noticing that the demon seems to be familiar with him. She also questions Makima's intense concern for Denji. Himeno questions whether Makima's recent decision to stay in Tokyo is related to Denji and whether she is aware of his secret. Normally, Makima travels frequently. Division 4 assembles for a beverage. Fushi explains to Aki that his fiend isn't as logical as Power and that he didn't bring his fiend with him. When Makima indicated she would arrive later, Kobani showed up a little late. Denji thinks back to the promised kiss from Himeno as he scans the menu, and she promises to give it to him after she's a little more inebriated. Denji reveals his age as 16 and that he enjoys eating and sleeping when the newcomers introduce themselves. Hirokazu confesses that he is 22 years old, that the Fox Devil is his employer, and that he enjoys writing haikus. When Aki reveals that the Fox Devil is amicable to people and has many contracts with devil hunters, Denji observes that he and Aki share the same devil contract. Only attractive people, says Himeno, are permitted to utilize the Fox Devil's head. Then Kobani reveals herself, stating that she is 20 and has a hidden devil pact. She enjoys eating delicious cuisine as well. When asked where his newbie is, Fushi replies that he passed away yesterday. They go on to explain that individuals easily die because the devils that the civilian devil hunters can control are given to the public safety. Denji waits for her kiss when Himeno declares that he won't pass away. Himeno kissed everyone save the newcomers, and she will undoubtedly kiss them as well, according to a different member. Denji is ecstatic about the prospect of a promised kiss. When Makima arrives, she overhears Denji talking and worries if he's going to kiss anyone. Then Denji refutes it. Then Himeno wonders if he still desires her kiss, but Denji insists he still does. Denji then finds himself split between wanting a French kiss from Himeno and not wanting Makima to witness him kiss Himeno. He chooses to divert the topic and informs Makima that he discovered a gun devil's piece, but she was previously aware of this. More devils carrying gun devil's pieces are coming, says Aki, and one of them even targeted Denji. He questions whether Makima is familiar with Denji. If he can outdrink Makima, She will tell him, she promises. After deciding to join them, Himino orders one beer after another for the group of 3. One of the group members is amazed by Power's ability to control her temptation to use violence. Powers claims that this is due to her extremely high IQ. The participant is perplexed that this is the cause and wonders what her IQ is. Power declares it to be 100, but after hearing the member claim she has the same IQ, Power changes it to 120. The participant comments on Fushi's high IQ, so he gives it to them, 134. She has an IQ of 500 or 1000, Power continues. Then Himino turned and began kissing Denji. As he feels her tongue with excitement, he then notices something else. He then observes Himino vomiting within his mouth. Everyone laughs when they are noticed. Power continues by saying that Denji has a habit of gulping down everything that tastes good in his mouth, thus at that same moment, Denji swallowed some vomit. When Denji was searching the garbage cans for food, he thought back to his younger years. He laughs as he consumes whatever food he can find as he notices some rats eating some drunk man's puke. Denji is puking in the loo, probably Himino's puke. Hirokazu tells him he is good at assisting because his mother gets drunk every day after work because he is helping him. Hirokazu envies Denji since, in contrast to him, he is not talented as a devil hunter. Denji urges him to gaze at him because there is nothing to be envious of because his first kiss made him throw up. Himino drives Denji home after the meeting because he is unable to walk. He eventually starts having nighttime thirsts. Himino lays on him and uses her mouth to feed him alcohol. She questions why Denji is there and whether or not she brought him there. Denji is queasy and ill. Himino surmises that he adores Makima. He and Aki liking Makima irritates her. She then tells him they should do it as she lies next to him. We see Denji is brought to her home by a drunken Himino, who puts him on her bed. She then opens a beer after taking a shower. She goes and gives Denji some beer with her mouth after hearing him call for water after waking up. Then, Himino queries if she brought Denji home and why he is in this location. She surmises that Denji adores Makima and feels a little irritated that Aki feels the same way. Denji should do it, she says him as she lies next to him. Himino emphasizes that she means it as sex in response to Denji's confusion. He is instructed to raise his hands as she begins to remove his shirt. Denji questions whether or not that is truly okay because his first kiss was meant to be with Makima but ended up with Himino, who puked in his mouth. He then immediately affirms it for himself. Himino starts to remove his trousers when he discovers a chupa chup in his pocket. Denji thinks back to an earlier time when he was feeling under the weather as a result of the vomit and Makima advised him to go outside for some fresh air. Then Makima brought him some anti-nausea medication. Denji explains that even if he kisses a different lady now, he would be reminded of the taste of vomit because of his awful first kiss. Denji receives the chupa chup Makima was licking by having it removed and placed in his mouth. She explains to him that while he probably won't forget the taste of vomit, he will have many more first tastes, such as the taste of cola and his first indirect kiss. Himino nods off in the present, while Denji is sprawled out on the floor next to the bed. He apologizes to Pochita while glancing at the chupa chups and says he wants to keep his first experience for Makima. Himino awakens Denji for breakfast in the morning. She says she can't recall anything from last night and worries whether she did anything to Denji as they are eating. He explains to her that he is keeping his first experience for Makima and won't do it with a vomit lady. Himino is relieved since doing it with a child may have led to her being arrested. She continues after a brief pause that Denji is peculiar and that most people would have felt uneasy and departed by this point. But given that there is free food, Denji doesn't see why he would. Himino assumes that Makima is the one he loves, and he wonders if he would still adore her even if she had a negative disposition. Himino decides to assist in setting him up with her after Denji affirms that he will. Himino proposes a covert alliance in which she will assist him with Makima and Denji will assist her with Aki. Himino declares that going forward, they are friends rather than merely senior and junior after Denji nods in agreement. Denji questions whether Makima would join them for breakfast when she says he can occasionally join Aki in power. Makima is traveling to Kyoto by train to meet with her superiors. She wants to buy a lunchbox and doesn't really want to meet them because she finds them frightening. Makima and her helper are shot by the men seated in front and behind her when the train enters a tunnel just before Kyoto. The men then place a call and announce that the operation can begin. All soldiers of Division 4 are out on various assignments throughout Tokyo when they are unexpectedly assaulted. At a ramen shop, Denji, Himino, Aki, and Power are dining. Power claims that the gunshots Denji heard were actually drums. Incredulous that he can eat ramen that tastes awful, a man speaks to Denji. Denji claims he likes the taste, but the man adds that Denji is unable to evaluate the flavor of food. He assumes it makes sense because Denji only consumed the same food when he was younger. The man continues by saying that his grandpa was the sweetest man and frequently took him to upscale eateries. He only killed a few women and children while he was a yakuza and was a necessary evil. The man then takes out a photo of himself and his grandfather, a member of the yakuza who employed Denji to hunt demons. He tells Denji that the gun devil is after her heart before taking out a gun and shooting the boy in the head. After power strikes him, Aki summons the fox devil, who eats the man as he continues to shoot at the other people. When Aki turns to check, she notices that both Denji and Himino are hurt, with Himino having been shot in the chest. The fox devil claims to have inserted something monstrous, something neither human nor demonic, in her mouth. Using swords rather than chainsaws, the guy transforms into the fox devil after cutting open the creature's head. Instructing Power to stop Himino's bleeding, Aki draws his blade. Power is taken aback when she discovers that Aki's blade is actually a sizable nail. The katana man is struck by Aki with his sword as he stands, and a devil utters the number 3. As they begin to wrestle, Aki pierces him a second time while the demon yells 2. The demon quickly pierces him a further time while saying 1. The man tosses Aki away after realizing enough is enough, but Aki then begs the cursed devil to murder him. Then the cursed devil says 0 and arrives, snatching the victim and killing him. Himino needs to be sent to the hospital. Power responds when Aki inquires about her condition. Since only police officers and devil hunters are allowed to own firearms in Japan, Aki is perplexed as to how he obtained one. Before Aki can return her attention to Himino, a woman appears out of nowhere and recognizes Aki's skill with the cursed devil. Aki wonders if she is that man's ally and where she came from. Katana Man is forced to rise up by the woman, who puts her hand on him. When asked why he fell short, Katana Man responds that he let his guard down. She then commands him to kill Aki. Then Katana Man assumes a position and swiftly pushes past Aki to slice him. The woman orders Katana Man to kill Aki after he drops to his knees but is still conscious. Power declines Himino's request to assist Aki because she was unable to notice Katana Man's strike. Himino calls the ghost devil, who informs Himino that the woman is frightful. Himino spits some blood, sensing that she is about to die, and offers to give the ghost devil her entire being if she can utilize it all. After accepting, the ghost devil fully manifests and starts combat with Katana Man. Himino claims that while the devil hunters grow accustomed to death and stop sobbing, Aki never stops grieving when one of his new recruits passes away. It must be comforting to have someone care about you and shed tears for you. Himino loses her arms as the battle goes on, but the ghost devil defeats Katana Man. Himino urges Aki not to pass away in the hopes that he will weep for her when she does. When Katana Man implores the woman for assistance, the snake devil appears and bites off the ghost devil's head. After defeating the ghost devil, Aki turns to face Himino but discovers that just her clothing is left.
In order to defeat the ghost devil, Akane uses the snake devil. She responds to Katana Man's claim that the fiend fled by saying that their goal is Chainsaw's heart and that they don't need to pursue her. Denji's chainsaw is then started by a hand from the ghost devil pulling on his rope. Denji transforms into Chainsaw Man and surmises that they are villains. He adds that he loves villains because no one complains when he kills them. Then Denji leaps into the fight with Katana Man, on the 3rd level of the West Naraima building. Akane reports that they are engaged in combat with Chainsaw and seeks assistance. Denji and Katana Man battle, appearing to be on equal footing. He orders them to shoot at his arms or heart when 2 men arrive to help Katana Man. Denji, however, stops them in their tracks before they can fire at him. Even so, one of the guys manages to shoot at Denji, and Denji takes him prisoner while threatening to kill the man if Katana Man moves. Then Katana Man kneels, assuming his attack stance, and splits Denji and his companion in half in an instant. Then, Katana Man takes up Denji by the handle on his head and returns to normal, saying that his fellow devil hunters ought to be dead at this point because they are helpless against firearms. Hirokazu Arai, Fushire, and other Division 4 members, including Mikima, have all been killed in unrelated incidents. The men who shot Mikima get ready to blend in with the crowd as Mikima's train approaches Kyoto, but she then rises up. Yutaro Kuroz and Michiko Tendo are awaiting the train at the Kyoto train station. They are approached by a man who tells them that Special Division 1, 2, 3, and 4 were ambushed in Tokyo. Michiko and Yutaro ponder Mikima and whether their patience was in vain. When the train arrives, terrified passengers flee. Then Makima emerges and informs them that there are bodies and that the area needs to be cleaned up after she was hit by gunfire. They are concerned that Makima was shot because she is covered in blood, but she reassures them that it isn't her blood. Her attackers are all dead aboard the train. Makima responds that they won't make there in time and that they are probably looking for Denji when Yutaro and Michiko inform her about the situation in Tokyo and ask if she should head back. She makes the decision to handle the problem from Kyoto and asks Yutaro to lend her 30 prisoners who are now serving life sentences or worse. Makima then requests that Michiko obtain her some clean clothing and hire out a local shrine at the highest elevation feasible. While being transported, the inmates are gathered and fed. They inquire about their destination but are instructed to remain silent. Makima changes into new clothing at the shrine. The prisoners are delivered to the bottom of the stairs leading to the shrine after Michiko warns her that they are on their way. Akane is informed by Katana Man that he won't be able to fight for some time. Denji is being carried by a few of his allies. When one of them spots a crow, they both start expressing how bizarre it feels. The man is crushed to death as they ponder what he is implying. Akane calls Team E right away to request that Team C confirm Makima's death. As soon as the Team E member informs her that he won't be able to reach Team C for some time, he too is fatally devastated. The prisoners, Yutaro, Michiko, and Makima are all wearing blindfolds at the shrine. Michiko responds that Makima reports directly to the chief cabinet's secretary and that regular devil hunters aren't allowed to know which devil she has contracts with when Yutaro questions why they require blindfolds. Makima approaches one of the prisoners and requests that he repeat Shuzo Mishima. Makima makes hand gestures while the inmates call out the name. Mishima is instructed by Katana Man to put Denji in the automobile, but when Makima completes her hand signals, Mishima and the prisoner are both crushed to death. Makima then turns to another prisoner and requests that he mention Takashi Inoue. When the man says it again, Makima kills another member of Katana Man's team. The remaining members of Katana Man's squad flee in fear as Makima shoots them one by one. She instructs Michiko and Yutaro to take off their blindfolds while leaving Katana Man and Akane intact. They discover that every prisoner is dead as they proceed. Makima reveals that she made the best of the situation she was in and is currently traveling back to Tokyo. Akane guesses the killings were done by Makima. Katana Man and Akane then sees Kobini in the distance. Earlier, a granny shoots Hirokazu in the neck from behind. Hirokazu then turns and gets shot by her in the head, a bullet that was aimed at Kobini. Holding a knife and radio station like Akane's, Kobini assumes that they are the shooters. Sacrificing a nail, Akane summons the snake devil's tail, however, Kobini dodges it and starts running on the snake devil. Katana Man starts shooting at her, but she gets close and cuts off his arm. Kobini then takes the gun and shoots Katana Man in the back. Akane picks a gun too, but Kobini runs and picks Denji and uses him as a shield. Akane then pulls Katana Man into the van and leaves with him. Holding Denji, Kobini apologizes for trying to kill him the last time. She laughs and cries, recalling Hirokazu's death and how she got close to the granny and killed her using her own gun. Kobini states that Hirokazu protected her and blames herself for his death. Kobini feels the job is making her go crazy and states that when she meets Himino, she will tell her that she quits. Makima, Michiko and Yutaro arrive in Tokyo and meet Madoka at the station. Makima is glad that he is alive and asks him how many survived. Madoka explains that Special Divisions 1, 2, 3, and 4 came under fire and almost all humans died. Madoka got an order from the superiors that due to personnel shortage, all 4 special divisions will merge into one, and Tokyo Special Division 4 will be now under Makima's control. Madoka then hands her a letter, clarifying that the envelope contained his resignation letter, saying that things were getting sinister in the special division and it was to either quit or die. Before Makima leaves, Madoka wants to ask her one final question and asks how much of this was anticipated by her. Makima tells him she can't discuss public safety's internal affairs with civilians and thanks him for his service. Yutaro and Michiko state that they are not there to join her division and are just there as advisors and will be back to Kyoto in 1 week. Makima laments it, saying that it's a shame as there are many great restaurants in Tokyo. So if like explanation, subscribe to channel for more videos.